Coming up on Global Business, strengthening bonds, Chinese commerce minister's visit to Italy signals a new era in strengthening economic relations between the two nations. Financial integration, inclusion of all regional financing credit services in China's nationwide platform network to enhance local financial integration. Trade Matters. We get you the latest insights and trade perspectives from the WTO World Trade Outlook report. From CGTN headquarters here in Beijing, this is Global Business. I'm Xia Vandenberg. Chinese Commerce Minister Wang Wentao is currently visiting Italy from April 10th to 12th. Over the past 5 years, China and Italy have made significant strides in enhancing their economic and trade cooperation. Bilateral trade has surged from $50 billion to nearly $80 billion in the last 5 years. Notably, events such as the Shanghai Import-Export and the Hainan Consumer Expo have provided valuable platforms for Italian products to access the Chinese market. Italian exports to China have seen a notable increase of nearly 30% from 2019 to 2023. A survey conducted by the German Chamber of Commerce in China revealed that 79% of German companies planning to sustain their investments in China consider it imperative for maintaining competitiveness in the country. For more insights on the strategies adopted by German companies in China, our Aaron Liu spoke to Maximilian Butek, Executive Director and Board Member of the German Chamber of Commerce in China, East China. Take a listen.
The German Institute for Economic Research recently highlighted in a report that Germany's direct investment in China surged by 4.3% in 2023, reaching a record high of 11.9 billion euros. What is your perspective on this evolving trend?
I believe that we see in the Chinese market or economy restructuring. Okay, so the government decided that they want to push the economy away from the property sector rather to high-quality industry and focusing on high-quality manufacturing, automotive industry, battery, semiconductors, etc. So this also leads to a different environment for our German companies, as we're now facing way more competition on the local market emerging out of these supported industries. And therefore, our companies are not in the position like they did traditionally in the past, invest here purely to grow the market, but rather to become more competitive. This, on the one hand, is investing into higher cost efficiency, in building up a better supply chain here in China, but also focusing on R&D, especially for the Chinese market, and serving Chinese clients better in this regard.
How do you envision the role of SMEs in fostering collaboration between China and Germany?
It will be driven by the SMEs, because also our SMEs are highly innovative. They are highly cooperative. Our SMEs also are most flexible, because if you don't have huge resources, you have to really change quickly with the market. And I believe that our companies achieved that. So more than happy if you can visit Taizang and look at these medium-sized company on what high level they are operating and how efficient they are and how innovative they are. And I think as a small company, it's way easier than being a very, very big company, being eaten up by the processes you have to follow.
What prospects and opportunities do you foresee for future cooperation between China and Germany, considering their complementary characteristics in terms of industry and market?
China is a growing market. Chinese people appreciate German products, so we will continue to invest here, and we will continue to provide excellent products to our clients. So this cooperation, it will happen because it's good. The second part is topics where we cannot discuss about cooperation, where we have to cooperate when it comes to environmental protection, food, medicine, pharma, medical equipment. I believe we cannot discuss should we cooperate or shouldn't we cooperate. We have to cooperate. And that's why I'm also happy why ministers are joining the delegation of Scholz from this area to investigate opportunities yeah, we have to do that.
You're watching Global Business, still to come. Inclusion of all regional financing credit services in China's nationwide platform network to enhance local financial integration.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global Business, only on CGTN.
China is set to enhance access to finance for small and medium-sized companies by establishing a national credit system. The National Development Reform Commission, People's Bank of China, and the National Financial Regulatory Administration have jointly disclosed the plan, which involves integrating local credit platforms and streamlining credit information sharing. With this system, banks can readily access comprehensive credit details of companies, facilitating timely financial support for eligible businesses. The initiative reflects China's commitment to bolstering the financial sector's support for the real economy. Meanwhile, the People's Bank of China has issued guidance to bolster financial support for green and low-carbon development. Over the next 5 years, China plans to establish a world-leading financial support system for green initiatives, foster international cooperation, and facilitate the construction of national carbon emissions trading market. This includes expanding the scope of trading entities and enhancing market liquidity. Now, for more insights on the recent measures introduced to support small and medium-sized enterprises in China, let's bring in Liu Zhiqin, Senior Fellow of the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies at Renmin University of China. Professor Liu, good to see you. So how are these primary measures aimed at easing financing for SMEs anticipated to impact China's economic environment and also the SME ecosystem?
I think the State Council has recently issued a series of documents and guidelines how to promote and support SMEs' economic development. As we know, SME has always a problem, difficulties to raise funds and financing support from the financial institutions. So that's why this State Council has again made a decision to build up or to set up a unified national level of the financing or financial platform. This financial platform, they have different levels from state level and provincial level, city and county level. But every province and every city and every county has only one the platform in order to have more better concentrated management. So this platform is the only channel, the only exit way that to connected or linked with the financial institution. Because before we know that the SME have difficulties to lend, to get the money, to borrow money or to get some financial support from the institutions of finance. They have to pay different visits to different banks that costs too much effort and time. Now they will have a unified platform to share the unified information about the company, about the background, and about the possible risks that can help financial institutions to make decisions whether they have to pay to give the lending or what interest rate they can be discussed. So this is very transparent and also very useful for SME. If this problem is solved, I think this SME will have a very much better positive ecosystem, and also business environment will be greatly improved and upgraded.
We also saw that there are recent guidelines jointly released by the central bank and 7 other departments to strengthen financial support for green and low carbon development aimed to shape the construction of the carbon emission trading market. What are the expected impacts on the financial sector support for green and low carbon initiatives by 2035?
Actually, in my opinion, or in my memory, I still remember at least 10 or 15 years before, China has already implemented or tried to make a test deal with the carbon emission with the different companies outside of China, also for domestic market. I think some deals have been done very successfully in order to get some experiences of what institutions we need, what regulations we need, and also what methods we should do to connect with the international practices. Nowadays, I think the state level that made a decision to build up also a unified platform or even the mechanism for the carbon trading. As I know that carbon trading is not a normal trading. It's very, very complicated with really high tech because it's a calculation, how to inspect, how to see the carbon emission is really zero, or how to make a deal, how to make the price. All this is really a comprehensive project. So by doing so that we have such a policy framework is very good for our implementation of our goal in the 2035 for our carbon emission target. So this is the first step, but a very important step. I hope that all these companies involved in the carbon emission could jointly make this efforts more successful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Liu Zhiqin. Please stay with us for more discussions later in the program. Now moving on to some other business news from across China. The Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has projected a more than 25% surge in investment in industrial equipment by the end of 2027 compared to 2023. China remains at the forefront of manufacturing technology, with its industrial robots accounting for 1/3 of the global total by the end of last year. Data from the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers reveals a nearly 6% increase in China's auto sales, reaching 1.7 million in March. Exports of new energy vehicles from China have seen a remarkable of over 70% year-on-year increase, totaling approximately 120,000 units. China's central bank has mandated full acceptance of payments using foreign bank cards at designated tourist spots, encompassing national-level tour sites and 3-star and higher-rated hotel nationwide. China's job market is undergoing significant changes as job seekers adapt to a shifting economy. Since the start of the peak hiring season in March, there has been a double-digit increase in job offers, signaling a robust demand for talent. According to a survey by Zhaopin.com, the country's top recruitment platform, the most sought-after jobs are in logistics, catering, and travel. Additionally, there is a notable shift in job location preferences. More than half of those surveyed expressed the expectation for people to relocate from first-tier cities to second-tier cities for employment opportunities in the next 5 years. The survey also reveals that finding jobs in smaller cities or even county-level areas is becoming a more realistic prospect for 1 in 8 job seekers. It also highlights the increasing openness of fresh graduates in China to blue-collar jobs. The rapidly developing homestay sector in China has recently seen the release of a national standard for homestay managers. But what does it take to be a homestay manager? Our reporter Zhu Zhu delves into the details.
This is Wang Jie. He is not just a coffee brewer, but also a homestay manager.
Well, have you guys learned about Homestay Managers? In 2022, Homestay Manager was recognized by the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security as a new profession. And recently, a national standard for this profession has been released, further enhancing its social recognition. So what exactly do they do?
The scope of our job is actually quite rich, like making coffee and wine, taking guests to visit around, and introducing the tourist attractions to them. More importantly, we will chat with our guests. Sometimes it's very interesting.
A report released by Chinese tourism platform Tuniu in July last year showed that compared with 2019, the number of homestay owners from the Generation Z age group surged 50%, the fastest growing figure among all age groups. Wang tells me such a trend can also be seen in homestay managers, as this job position provides many opportunities, especially for younger people to explore.
Initially, I just wanted to develop my coffee shop. Later on, I found out that I can manage homestays, make coffee, and organize outdoor activities, and so on. It feels quite challenging.
Yang Shicheng is also a homestay manager. As a music and sports lover himself, he is organizing different types of events to attract customers.
For example, the upcoming May Day Strawberry Music Festival in Beijing is being held nearby. Here we have pianos and guitars, and we are planning to help organize things so that our music-loving homestay guests can gather here after attending the music festival.
Apart from the regular routines, what a homestay manager can do depends on how they design their space.
可能就是针对像我们这些比较爱运动的这种。
For people like us who are fond of sports, homestay managers will introduce various nearby cycling routes, and we can simply navigate there and ride.
比较经典的，完了推荐给我们，我们直接导航就可以过去，骑过去。
Homestay owner Liang Yuanyuan says to be a homestay manager is easy, but to do it well is not.
They have to provide more personalized experiences and have more intimate interaction with our customers, because that's our differentiation compared with hotels. Those are the things our customers are looking for. They have to be managers and they have to be storytellers.
She adds that with the national standard for homestay managers being released recently, she expects more occupational trainings to be provided for them to make the sector more standardized. Zhuzhu, CGTN, Beijing.
You're watching Global Business, still to come. Trade Matters. We get you the latest insights and trade perspectives from the WTO World Trade Outlook Report when we come back.
Here on Biz Talk, we connect the dots, shedding light on the real stories behind the economic landscape. To better understand China's dynamism and the economies and rhythms of business, propelling new drivers of growth.
China. Chinese market is China.
Biz Talk, your window into China and the global economy. Only on Biz Talk.
Economic ties between China and Germany have strengthened in recent years, with bilateral trade reaching 254 billion euros in 2023. According to statistics authority Status, this is 8th consecutive year that China has been Germany's most important trading partner. Executives from top German firms like Siemens, Mercedes-Benz, and Bayer have expressed confidence in China's economic growth potential and the government's focus on new quality productive forces at the China Development Forum in March. Ulf Ringhardt, chairman of the German Chamber of Commerce in China, earlier said that despite competitive pressures under a level playing field in the future, most German companies are still committed to the Chinese market and are optimistic about China's growth. Now, for more details on Chinese Commerce Minister Wang Wencao's visit to Italy and China-Italy economic ties, let's cross to our reporter Alex Fraser in Milan. Hi there, Alex. So what's the current context of the China-Italy economic relationship?
So I'm here today at the Invest in China-Italy session in Milan, and it's all about bringing these two partners closer together. China wants to create a business culture that's more welcoming for foreign investment. For many years, there's been Chinese investments in Italy, and a lot of that investment has come into the city of Milan, and that's been from everything from football clubs, telecoms, and even tires. And what China's trying to do is to welcome foreign investors to come there. So this here is all about bringing these two countries together and businesses from Italy and from China. Earlier in last year, the Italian foreign minister visited Beijing, and he met with Wang Wentao, and they talked about how they'd welcome more Italian investment in China. And they're already significant trade partners. Annual trade between the two increased from $50 billion in 2018 to nearly $80 billion last year. So it's all about that, really. After Italy announced their decision to leave the Belt and Road process, they still want to encourage trade between the two nations and investment and keep those tight bilateral relations too.
Now, what activities are scheduled for Chinese Minister of Commerce Wang Wentao during his visit in northern Italy?
So he's scheduled tomorrow to be visiting the two, well, across a few days. He's visiting the region of Veneto, which is one of the economic powerhouses in Italy, along with here in Lombardy, where Milan is based. And he's going to be attending the bilateral business and dialogue forum in Verona, and he's also going to be speaking at an event at the University of Venice, which is celebrating Marco Polo, the explorer, famous son of Venice, and various Italian-Chinese relations, which are close between the city of Venice and its twin cities over in China.
All right, thank you so much for that. Alex Fraser in Milan bringing us the latest updates. Global trade is expected to experience gradual growth, with the world merchandise trade volume projected to increase by 2.6% in 2024 and 3.3% in 2025, according to the latest report from the World Trade Organization. The report anticipates that Asia will play a more significant role in global merchandise trade, contributing around 45% to the world's total exports and over 80% into imports. Additionally, the world real GDP is forecast to remain stable at 2.6% in 2024 and 2.7% in 2025. However, the WTO warns that geopolitical tensions and uncertain policies could potentially hinder trade recovery over the next 2 years. Now, for more discussions on the latest trade report released by the WTO and global trade ties, let's bring back Liu Zhiqin, Senior Fellow of Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies at Renmin University of China. So, Professor Liu, what are the primary drivers behind the anticipated rebound in world merchandise trade volume in 2024 and 2025, particularly in the context of varying import demand across regions, as noted in the report?
Yes, from the report issued by the WTO, we can see a mixed picture. I personally have a mixed feeling. Some words, some figures make me very happy, and the other make me some upset or pessimistic. For instance, the drivers for this year's development are mainly rely on demand, especially for the import business. As we know, the last year, the import business is very weak, very poor in America, in European countries, also in Asian countries. Only in Middle East or in some Commonwealth countries that they have a positive performance in this way. So how to make this import business on the demand side more attractive is the main task for all countries, especially for those economic organizations in the world. But for the manufactured goods or tradable goods, for both sides, we should do something more to promote this trading, especially for import business. In my opinion, this report didn't mention that some countries now adopt decoupling or some other negative policy to block the trading or to block the import and export business. This is one of the reasons why we have such a low merchandise rate in this year and last year. So we should do something more to improve the real business environment, to make more respectful and more equal trade partner, especially between developing countries and also developed countries. This gap should be tried to overcome.
Yeah. And how to interpret the relationship between GDP growth and merchandise trade volume, particularly in the context of inflationary pressure affecting trade-intensive goods consumption?
As we know that merchandise volume is one important part of the GDP. For normally normal country in the conditions that it can occupy 20 to 30% of this GDP, but it's quite different at this moment because of two reasons. As already mentioned in the report, that geotension made some big challenges, uncertainty for many countries trading, especially for the merchandise trading. For instance, the energy price make the difficulties for the poor and the developing countries, and also for those countries who have less resources, natural gas and the crude oils, even most resources products. So in this reason, I think this market will be re-regulated in the right way. But in the WTO report, I have to say, they didn't give any positive and good answer on how to solve this problem.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for insights. Really appreciate your time. Liu Zhiqin, Senior Fellow of Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies at Renmin University of China. And that will do it for this edition of Global Business. I'm Michelle Vandenberg in Beijing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.